Hello guys, welcome to my YouTube channel. Today I want to show you 10 Git command you only need to know as a beginner. I've actually outlined some very important 10 Git command that you only need to know as a beginner. Are you a beginner in web development or whatever uh, tech industry that you are in, and you actually want to create a portfolio for yourself using Git where you can keep all your projects as well as track your development process, and you're a beginner, you don't know how to do this. Well, I've outlined some very important Git command that you only need to be on the right track. So here, the first thing you need to do is you need to have a GitHub account. You need to navigate to GitHub and create an account. And here you can see I've created my own account. I have about 30 repository, and this is my account username, which is Shady Ranking. So once you do that, you actually need an email and also a username to have a GitHub account running. So once you do that, the next thing you do is you need to download Git and install on your machine. Just navigate to this website here. All you can do is just Google Git. Google Git. Once you Google Git, the first website that will come up is actually the website. So if you're on Windows, just go ahead, download this, and Git will be installed on your system. Basically, when you do that, Git is going to install uh, Bash as well. Bash is actually a command prompt window for Git command. So it actually install this particular window here on your system, this Git Bash here. So you need to configure Git on your machine now. That's after you finish installing Git on your machine, you need to configure it on your machine. So what you need is the username of your GitHub account. This particular username here, as well as the email address. So just come back to your Git Bash and enter this command, which is git config global, then user.name. Once you do that, then you add the name here in bracket, and my own is schedule ranking. So once you do that, it could be anything, it could be example, it could be sample. Just follow this command here, git config global user.name, then put your username, your GitHub username in bracket and hit enter. And after you do that, do the same thing for the email. Instead of name, changes, okay, instead of the email, changes from user.name to user.email. So once you do that, come here and add it. Let's just change this to at uh, gmail.com. This is not actually my user email, just an example that I'm giving you. Once you do that, hit the enter button and Git will be configured on your local machine. So once that is done, you have configured Git on your local machine. Now you can go ahead and continue creating your project and uploading them to your GitHub repository. So let's see how that is done. The first thing you need to do is you can go ahead and create a local repository first on your machine. Here we created one, which is actually Git. There are actually two ways to navigate this particular local repository here. I'm not saying you should create your own and call it Git. Maybe we are working on a project to create a front-end app. It could be any kind of app at all that you are doing. Just create a folder in your document or anywhere at all you want to place that particular folder, and go to that particular folder and right-click on it. So once you do that, I'm on Windows 11, so this is how my UI looks like, and Git Bash here. And once you Git Bash here, Git is going to open that particular document directly for you. And here you are. So what if you don't have this particular uh, Git Bash in your system? You can also go and use the PowerShell. The PowerShell. Let me show you how that is done. The PowerShell. You can see here I'm my user account, which is the ranking. So I have to navigate to document. Let me press the tab. Okay. I think that was too fast. See the document tab. So now I'm in document now. So I'm going to navigate to the Git now. And you can see now I'm in Git now. So you can from here as well initialize Git in the particular repository. So the first thing you need to do is you need to initialize Git in every local repository you create on your machine. What do I mean by local repository? The file in which you are working, the file in which you are creating, you are working on, you need to initialize Git on that particular file. We call it the local repository. So now we can go ahead and do the command is git init. Once I do that, you see initialize empty Git repository in this particular repository here. So if I come to this PowerShell and enable this particular command again, if you see reinitializing, because it has already initialized. So if you see reinitializing existing Git repository, so it has already initialized. So if I navigate back to that particular folder now, which is the Git, I should see a particular .git folder. Are you seeing it? If you do that and you don't see this particular .git folder here, go to your views. I'm in Windows 11, so this is how my UI look like, and show hidden and enable the show hidden items. So once you do that, what's the next thing you need to do? You have initialized Git on your local machine. So what's the next thing you need to do? The next thing you need to do, let me expand it so that you can see it very well. The next thing you need to do is git add. And what does the git add do? This particular git add here, this particular one here used to add files. You have already created files and you want to add them to the staging files, to the staging area. Here I cannot add anything because there is nothing to add at all. If I do git add, or there's nothing to add at all. So there's nothing to add as a matter of fact. So let's go and create a particular let's open this folder here. Actually, let's open it from my PowerShell. Let's open this git folder here in my text editor. I'm using VS Code, so if I do code dot, it's actually a shortcut for VS Code. That particular folder should be open in VS Code, and here you can see the VS Code window is coming up, and here you can see the Git is already open. So here I'm in VS Code. I just want to create one file here, and let's add it immediately. Let's just call it app, or let's just call it print.py. So create one file which is print.py, and let's just do print hello world. Let's save and let's run that and see. Let's see if it works. Come on, print hello world. And there you go, print hello world. So now let's go back to our particular let's go back to our git prompt and let's see. So now I cannot just come here and just do git add. The first command you need to know is git status, and this particular command will help you check the status of your git, the current branch that you're working on. Here we are on master branch. I'm going to explain this as we continue. We are on we're on the current branch, which is master branch. So if I do git status now, it's going to show me if there's any other file that has been added. And here you can see I added print.py. So before you add any file at all, make sure you do git status, because maybe you add so many files and you don't want them to have the same commit message. So you can do git status to know if you've added any file at all. So now I can go ahead and add. There are actually two ways of adding. If there are many files here and I want to add them one after the other, I can do git add print.py. I can add one file one after the other. But if there are just one file and I don't need to add a file one after the other, I can just do git add all, and that particular file will be added to the staging area. So now if I do git status now, it should change from that red to green. I seen it. It means one file has been added. So the next command you need to do now is git commit. Git commit, it will actually going to commit that particular, is going to add that particular, is going to help Git track the new change that has actually been done. The new change that actually been done. The git commit actually make that is going to add a message to that particular new change. So let me just show you what I mean by that in a second. So now I'm going to add a commit message. Are you seeing it? And this is the command for it, is git commit, then -m, then the commit message here. And I can just say added hello world. Are you seeing it? So if I now do git status now, you can see everything is clean. You can see on the master branch, nothing to commit. Working tree is clean. Let's repeat this process again. So let me come back to this particular place here, and let's add another file. So let's open this as another file. Let me call this one print1.py, and let me add another one, print hello. Let's run that again and see. Hello. So that works. Let's go back to this place again. So once you add a file, you need to do git status. Let's clear this and go back to the top. You need to git status. Git status. I seen it. I've added another file which is print1.py. So now I can do git add all because just only one file. So I don't need to add them one after the other. Git add all. Now if I do git status again, I added one file which is print1.py. So now I can do git commit. I can commit it. This is the command which I will say added hello. So that is just it. Now we have seen how to do git init. We have seen how to do git init. We have also seen how to do git add. We have also seen how to do git status. We have also seen how to do git commit. So let me show you one thing. All this particular commit here, if you want to check the history, you want to know the history of your particular committed messages, just do git log, and it's going to show you all the committed messages. And here you can see the first one we added was added hello world, and the second one we added was added hello. So if I have up to 20 committed messages, if I just do git log, it's going to show me all those messages. Are you seeing it? So let's clear this. Let's clear this and go back to the top. So what's the next thing you need to do? The next thing you do is the next command you need to understand is working on branch. When do you need to work on branch? For instance, you want to contribute to an open source. I actually made a video on that, on how to contribute to open source. I'll drop the link in the description below if you want to know how to contribute to open source. Initially, the main branch for Git was master, but now they have changed it from master to main. Let me navigate to a GitHub account and you can see. Let's just open one repository, and here you can see instead of the master, the main branch is now what? Is now the default branch, is now main. So I seen it. So now, but this particular command prompt here is seen it as master. So I want to show you guys how you can create so many sub branch, because if you want to contribute an open source, you cannot commit to that particular default branch, to that main branch directly. You have to create your own branch and commit to it. So now the command for it, if I do git branch now, it's going to show me all the branch that I have. And here I just have only one branch, which is master. If I want to create a branch name now, I can just do git branch, and let's just call it sample. So if I do git branch now, you will see I have two branches now. I have master and sample. If I want to switch to this particular branch name here, which is sample, I can just do git checkout, sample, git checkout sample. I can see switch to branch sample. So if I do git branch now, what is this branch was that it shows the list of all the whole branch. I can go ahead and also create another one. I can do git branch testing. Are you seeing it? If I do git branch now, it doesn't mean you can be in any branch at all and create. You can see I have two branches now. I have the master, I have the testing. But what if I want to switch from this master to main, because we are not the default branch for Git is actually main, it's not master. So we have to navigate back to the master branch. So let's do git let me do git checkout master. This will take me back to the master branch. So now I can switch back to the main branch, which is the new default branch by Git. I'll do git branch minus the main. Don't forget this, git branch minus b main. So once I do that, I'm sorry, I got that wrong. I'm sorry, it's supposed to be git branch minus n, not minus b main. So now you can see that switch from the master branch to main. So let's do git branches now and let's see. So now you can see the master branch is gone. So now actually the master branch was the default branch. So now I have main, I have sample, and I have testing. So this is how actually you switch from one branch to another. There's some command again I want to show you. Let's go back to the notes I have made here and let me show you. We've actually covered the git config, we have actually covered the git init, we have covered the git add, the git status, we have covered the git commit, we have covered git log. So let's check the git branch. And we've covered this, we have covered this, we have covered this, we have covered this. Okay, let's see how we can delete a branch actually. So now, after that, we'll see how we can merge branches. So if you want to delete these branches now, I can just do git branch minus d, and let me just do testing. Is it testing? Did I got it right? So you can see deleted branch testing. So if I do git branch now to check the state, to check the branch status, you can see that it's just remaining main and sample. I see it. So the last one is git merge, and what this does is that you just merge all the whole branches together. So that is just all. That's just the simple steps, and I've said once you configure git on your system, which is git config. I'm just repeating these things for you again. Global user dot name, same thing, user dot email. The next thing you need to do, you need to initialize git on your machine, which is git init. Once you do that, then you can start adding file, git add. You can add file name, which is you can add it single file name. Before you do that, you need to know the git status. Then after that, you have to also understand git commit, to commit the message, to commit your actually the work, to commit the message to your staging area. Then after that, if you're working in a group, or you want to contribute to open source, which I say I will drop a video in the description below, then you also have to create branches, which we just finished explaining now. So the next thing to do is you have created a local repository, you have committed work, you have done all those things. I want to push this back to your remote repository. What will you do? What is the git command for it? So here I've created a GitHub account, and here you can see this is the GitHub. This is a GitHub account. If you don't know how to create a GitHub account, I've created a video on the easiest way to create a GitHub account. I'll also drop the link in the description. I will advise you to go and watch it. So here, this is a GitHub account that we have created. I want to actually pull this GitHub account offline and merge it with the one we have with the local repository and push it back to this place. So come to this code here and copy this code. So what's the first thing you need to do? Well, if that's the first time you are doing it, if you do this, it will ask you to authenticate. It will ask you to log in again to your GitHub account for authentication. So let's just do git push. That's the code for it. It's git push, then remote URL. And what's the remote URL? Sorry, it's git pull first. Git pull first before git push. So let's paste that remote URL. Then there come the branch name, which is main. You do git pull remote URL of the remote repository. This is the remote repository, shadranking.git.git. Then the last thing you need to add is the branch, which is main. So I'll go ahead and hit my enter, and it's going to download this git. So here you can see we have a particular error. The reason why we have a particular error is because we are supposed to create the empty repository, and we are supposed to create the empty repository and pull it offline before we start committing things to it. But here you can see there are actually, this repository was created and we want to merge it to a new local repository online. So if you ever run into errors like this, you can see fatal, refusing to merge unrelated issue. So what you need to do is you need to add -- allow dash unrelated dash history. If you don't know how to do this, just copy that error and Google it. Just copy this refusing to merge unrelated. Let me just show you how you can solve this thing from Google. Let me just show you. If you have errors like this, if you have errors like this, just go to your Google and Google them. It's very easy. Google is your friend. And once you do that, you should be able to see it. Here you can see it. Git pull origin master. Origin master is actually the remote URL. Then allow unrelated history, which is what we have just done now. So let's go ahead and hit enter and see where did you get it wrong. Let's clear this. We actually got something wrong. Let's repeat that process again. Git pull https main. Let's copy this one from Google and paste. Probably we got a spelling error. Let's copy this here. Let's come back to this place and let's paste it. Let's hit enter. Now you can see it has downloaded it offline for us. So let's go back to our, we're supposed to see the readme and the ignore, which are the new things there. And there you can see we have the ignore and the readme all pulled to the offline, and other things such as input file, app. These were actually things that were in the remote repository. Let's see it. We have ignore, we have readme, we have app and input file, and those things has been pulled to our offline repository as well. And here you can see them. So the next thing to do is you need to push this back to your remote repository. If you actually do this git pull first, you will not run into these errors, but I just want to show you how you can solve these errors manually. So now we'll push this particular code back. So let's just remove this one here. The same syntax, git push, then the remote URL name, the remote URL link, then main. So just push that, and this to be pushed back to our remote repository. So let's hold on for some second. So that has been done. So let's come back here and refresh this and see if it actually, I told you if you don't know how to, so you can see our print one and our print and print one messages has all been uploaded, and this was done 30 minutes ago. So basically this is how you do it. So the last one I want to show you guys here is the git clone. So let's see how we can clone this repository. The git clone, you can clone a particular repository anywhere you want at all for offline use or download it. This is how you do it. Let's navigate back to my user account. We are in document. Let's navigate back to the ranking. So now if I do git clone now, git clone, if I do that, it's going to download a particular repository for my offline. So now I want to see if the particular repository git was downloaded to my user account. Let me just do directory and let's see if we find git there. And there you go. Here it is. It was downloaded on the 8th of May 2022, just a few minutes ago, and you can see it 24/024, and look at it here, git. So this is how you can do it. This is how you can clone a repository for offline use. And I hope this video helps you. It's very easy. If you have any question, or maybe while trying to work on this, you run into an error, you can go ahead and drop it in the comment section. I'll be so glad to help you. If you like this video, go ahead and give it a thumbs up and drop a comment in the comment section below. And you should also subscribe to my YouTube channel for very amazing videos like this. Make sure you turn on the notification button, because I wouldn't want you to miss out on any important video. Thank you for watching. Stay blessed.